In this video lecture, now we will start with a new chapter, solid state. Right. So solid state, we know that solid is one of the states of matter, right? And we know that there are three states of matter. One is solid, second is liquid, third is gas, right? So we have three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. And solid state is one of the states of matter, right? And we have been studying about states of matter, right, since our school days, since our junior classes, right, 8th, 9th, 10th classes, right? So in this chapter, we would be focusing more on the solid state, right? And throughout this chapter, we would be more talking about the constituent particles in the solid, right? How the constituent particles, which may be ions, atoms, or molecules, are arranged in the solids, right? How the constituent particles are packaged, right? Are packed in the solid state, right? In different solids, right? So let's just little talk about different states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas, right? We have, say this is a solid, right? In solid, we know that in solids, the constituent particles that make solid, the constituent particles may be solid, may be atoms, ions, or molecules, right? We know that in solid state, these constituent particles are close to one another, right? And we know that in gaseous state, these constituent particles are far away from one another, right? The intermolecular distance in gases, right, between these constituent particles is maximum, right? And the intermolecular distance between these particles in solid state is minimum, right? And between in liquids, it's less than that of solids, and more than that of liquids, more than that of gases, right? So this is how particles are arranged in solids, right? So this represents this type of arrangement where the constituent particles are close to one another, right? This represents solid state, right? Now let's talk about liquid, how these constituent particles look in liquid, right? In liquid, this is how the constituent particles are arranged, right? This is your liquid. And if we talk about gas, in gases, the particles are far away from one another, right? So let's just take down some points, right? So here, let's suppose this solid is made up of molecules. So intermolecular distance, right? In solid, it's maximum, right? In liquids, it's between solid and gas, right? In gases, the intermolecular distance is minimum here. The intermolecular distance, that is distance between these molecules, is minimum in case of solids, right? And in case of liquids, it's between solid and gas, and in gases, the intermolecular distance is maximum. As you can see that molecules are far away from one another, so intermolecular distance is maximum in case of gases, right? Now, these particles, right, in solid, liquid, and gas, right, these molecules or atoms or whatever they are, they also experience a force of attraction. There is a force of attraction between the constituent particles that form solid, liquid, or a gas, right? So if you look the three cases, the intermolecular, or we also say it as cohesive force, This is maximum in solids. Why? Because the constituent particles are close to one another. So cohesive force or intermolecular force is maximum in case of solids. Right? So this is intermediate. The force of attraction between constituent particles in liquid is intermediate, right, between solid and gas. And if you talk about the intermolecular or cohesive force between gases, it's minimum because the distance between the particles is maximum, right? So here the intermolecular force is minimum, right? Now let's talk about randomness. Randomness is degree of randomness, that if molecules, right, can randomly move in all directions, then we say that the randomness is maximum, right? So in which state of matter molecules can move randomly in any direction? It's gases, right? So we say randomness is maximum in gases, right? It's randomness because in solids the molecules we say are closely packed, right? So since molecules are closely packed, so randomness is minimum, right? So here again in case of liquids it's between these two, right? So randomness is minimum in solids, maximum in gases, right? That is why in gases molecules are far away from one another and they keep moving randomly in all directions. Right, now we say that solids and liquids, right, since if you just look at the particles, right, in liquids and gases, due to randomness the molecules in liquids can move in different directions, right? So here molecules can move in different directions, and in this case, in case of gases, randomness is maximum, so molecules can randomly move in all directions, right? So here also molecules can move, right, randomly in all directions. Here also in case of gases molecules can move randomly in all directions. That is why liquids and gases can flow, right? And anything that can flow we call them as fluids, right? So liquids and gases are fluids because the constituent particles in liquids and gases can move in different directions, right? Since they can move, so they are called as fluids, right? So we say that the gases and liquids possess fluidity, right? And the reason for fluidity of gases and liquids lie in the fact that their constituent particles are free to move, right? So here we can write like particles are free to move. When we say free to move, we mean that the particles are not fixed in their position, they can move, right? So here also particles are free to move. And what about in solids? You can see that the molecules are closely packed, right? And intermolecular distance is minimum, right? And free space between molecules or the constituent particles is minimum, right? So we say that here in case of solids molecules are, or let's use the term particles are closely packed, right? Here particles are free to move in case of gases. So since particles are closely packed in case of solids, right, so particles are closely packed, so they are fixed in their position due to which they cannot move, right? So here particles are closely packed, cannot move, right? Particles are closely packed and fixed in their position, they cannot move. And in case of liquids they can move, here also they can move. So that is why we say that liquids and gases are fluids, as particles can move. Because the constituent particles can move, so they act as fluids, right? Whereas solids cannot act like fluids because constituent particles are fixed in their position. They cannot move, right? So now let's talk about one more thing. What decides whether a substance will exist in solid, liquid or gas, right? What factors decide whether a substance will exist in solid state, liquid state or gaseous state, right? So factors that decide state of matter, right? There are two things. If you just look at any of these particle arrangement, there are two things. First thing we have already discussed, intermolecular or cohesive force, right? So all these particles, right, constituent particles experience a force of attraction, right? And this force of attraction will try to bring particles close to one another, right? That is, they try to make particles more orderly, right? This force of attraction will try to arrange these particles in an orderly manner, right? So here, if you talk about solids, since the particles are close to one another, so they have maximum cohesive forces or intermolecular forces acting between the particles, right? So here, in this case, orderly arrangement is maximum. Orderly arrangement is maximum, right? And if we talk about gases, in gases the molecules are far apart and they are moving randomly in all directions. So in gases these particles are not at all orderly arranged, right? They are randomly moving, so no orderly arrangement, right? No orderly arrangement. No orderly arrangement of constituent particles, right? So intermolecular forces, right? The first thing that the factors that decide the state of matter is your intermolecular forces that we have already discussed, right? And these are the forces existing among the constituent particles which try to keep the particles close to one another, right? First is your intermolecular forces. First factor is your intermolecular forces, right? This will keep particles close to one another, right? Since it's maximum in solids, so particles are close to one another, and this force also tries to arrange the particles in an orderly manner, right? The second thing is these particles possess thermal energy, right? Heat energy. Thermal energy possessed by particles, right? So what this thermal energy will do? Thermal energy or heat energy possessed by these constituent particles will move the particles, thermal energy will increase the kinetic energy of these particles, right? So once the kinetic energy of the particles will increase due to thermal energy, they will move, right? They will start moving in different directions, right? If their kinetic energy will increase, that is their velocity will increase, so they will start moving in different directions, right? Since in case of solids, the molecules are closely packed, right? So here the particles cannot move, right? They can only oscillate about their mean position, right? So when you increase the temperature, that is the thermal energy, they will start moving with a high kinetic energy, or they will start oscillating with a high energy, right? So at one point they will start leaving their position and will change into liquid state when you keep increasing the thermal energy, right? So the thermal energy, what it basically does, thermal energy is opposite of intermolecular forces, right? Thermal energy will increase the randomness, right? That is, it will decrease the orderly arrangement of particles, right? So here, since in solids the orderly arrangement is maximum, so increasing thermal energy will decrease the orderly arrangement of these particles, right? So when you keep heating a solid, it will melt, right? So when it melts, that means the orderly arrangement is decreasing, so it will change into liquid state, right? So, and when you heat the liquid, that is, you increase the thermal energy of liquid, right? Here also, since thermal energy will decrease the orderly arrangement or increase the randomness, right? So these particles will start moving randomly in all direction with high kinetic energy or with high speed, right? So here also, if you keep heating any liquid, the orderly arrangement will go down and the randomness among the particles will increase, and if randomness will increase, they will change into gaseous state, right? So thermal energy possessed by particles, right, will decide the thermal energy, and intermolecular force of attraction will decide the state of matter, right? So now three things. First is state of matter is gaseous, or state if intermolecular force is very much greater than thermal energy, right? Intermolecular force is very much greater than thermal energy. Intermolecular force will increase the orderly arrangement. That is, intermolecular force will bring the particles close to one another, like in case of solids, right? So when intermolecular force is very much greater than your thermal energy, the state is solid, right? In this case, the state is solid, right? Second case is if intermolecular force, right, is very much less than thermal energy, or we may also say that thermal energy is greater than intermolecular force, right? So in both the cases, it's the same thing. If thermal energy is maximum, right, if thermal energy is maximum, it will increase the kinetic energy of the constituent particles, and due to maximum kinetic energy, they will start moving randomly in all directions, right, like in case of gases, right? So once particles are free to move, right, they will change into gaseous state. If thermal energy is very much greater than intermolecular force of attraction, then you have what you get is the gaseous state, right? Now if the intermolecular force is not very much greater than, but greater than thermal energy, then you have is your liquid state. C is when the intermolecular force, right, is greater than, or the force of attraction or the intermolecular attraction is greater than the thermal energy, then matter exists in liquid state, right? If intermolecular force, or we also call it as cohesive force, is greater than your thermal energy, then matter exists in liquid state, right? So these are the two factors, these are the two opposing factors, intermolecular force, which we also call it as cohesive force between the particles, and the thermal energy, right, possessed by the particles, that will decide whether the particle will exist in solid, liquid or gaseous state, right? So this is important. And now we know one thing, that now let's talk about more about solid state, because throughout this chapter we would be dealing with solid state, right? Since these particles in solid, right, are close to one another, right? So they have, we said they have maximum intermolecular force of attraction, right? And the intermolecular distance is minimum, right? Since the intermolecular distance is minimum, so the space or the volume between the particles is minimum, right? Or the space between the particles is minimum in case of solids, right? So we say space between particles is minimum in solids, right? Space between the particles is minimum and intermolecular force is maximum and randomness is minimum, right? So we say that molecular motion, if we talk about, what about molecular motion in case of solids? Molecular motion is minimum, right? Because the particles are fixed in their position in case of solids, right? So their constituent particles, right, have fixed position and can only oscillate about their position, right? Molecular motion, right, is minimum, right? Since constituent particles, which may be atoms, ions or molecules, are fixed in position, right? So no molecular motion means particles are close to one another, right? So molecular motion, due to their fixed position, is minimum. They do not move. That is why these solids are not fluids and they can move, right? Liquids and gases, so they are classified as fluids, right? Then definite shape and size, definite shape and volume. We know that solids have definite shape and volume. Why? We said that the orderly arrangement is maximum in case of solids. Orderly arrangement of particles is maximum in solids. So this orderly arrangement, if particles are orderly arranged, right, it will give us shape to the solid, right? If you compare it with gases, since in gases the particles are not orderly arranged, it's randomly moving in all directions, so gases have no shape, right? But in case of solids, since the particles are orderly arranged, so they have definite shape and volume, right? So the constituent units in solid occupy fixed positions, right, due to lack of translatory motion and strong attractive forces, right? So these, we already said that the constituent particles have fixed position, right, due to which they cannot move. Due to these fixed positions, they cannot move, so they have definite shape and volume, right? Now they are rigid, right? They are rigid again because due to the same reason. This is because the strong attractive forces, right, the strong attractive forces between the constituent units, right, or the constituent particles, due to which they have fixed positions, right? Since the attractive forces, right, cohesive forces is maximum in case of solids, right, so they are rigid, right? We say that these solids have maximum rigidity, right? They are rigid. Why? Because their constituent particles are fixed in position and they have maximum cohesive forces between the particles, which give them maximum rigidity, right? And they are incompressible. Solids are incompressible. What could be the reason? You might have studied some experiments where if a container has a gas, right, particles of gas in it, right, you can compress this gas by applying high pressure, right? If you apply high pressure, say this will move here, this will move here, and the gas molecules will come close to one another. Why gas molecules can come close to one another? Because they have distance. The intermolecular distance is maximum. There is a scope that these gas particles or gas molecules can come close to one another because they have space between the molecules or between the particles, right? Since the intermolecular distance is maximum in gases, so they can be compressed. But if you compare it with solids, the intermolecular distance is minimum in case of solids. If you look at this kind of arrangement, the space between the solids is minimum, right? Due to which, even if you try to compress this solid, since they are already close to one another, they are touching one another, so solids cannot be compressed because there is no scope of these particles coming more close to one another, right? So we say that solids are incompressible, right? Because the space between them gets eliminated to a large extent, hence they cannot be compressed, right? Solids are nearly incompressible. So we say solids are nearly incompressible because the space between the particles, right, is almost gone, right? Or the space between them gets eliminated to a large extent, right, due to the orderly arrangement or due to the arrangement of particles, since particles are close to one another, right? And another property is they have high density, right? Solids have high density. Density is mass per unit volume, right? And I said just now that the volume, right, volume between the particles is minimum. If you look at these, the constituent particles, the volume between any two particles, right, or the space, the volume between the particle is minimum. Since volume is minimum, so density and volume are inversely related. Less is the volume, more is the density. So that is why we say solids, we know that solids are denser, they have high density because of this kind of arrangement again. The particles are close to one another and the volume or the space between the particles is minimum. Since volume is minimum, so density is maximum, right? So mass per unit volume, right, due to this mass per unit volume, they have high density, right? So we say that that the constituent units in solids, right, are closely packed, leading to decrease in volume, right? Since they are closely packed, so it decreases the volume between the particles, hence mass per unit volume or density is high, right? This mass per unit volume, which is nothing but density, is high, right? So when these particles come, I'll repeat, when these particles come close to one another, since particles are closest in case of solids, volume is minimum, density is maximum, or what we say is mass per unit volume, which is density is maximum in case of solids, right? And diffusion, since in diffusion, what happens in diffusion, if you have studied osmosis, where liquid diffuses through the semi-permeable membrane, it's the liquid molecules that are moving, and we discussed here that liquids and gases possess fluidity because the particles are free to move, and here particles are not free to move in case of solids. So solids cannot diffuse because particles are tightly packed, they are not free to move, and particles are, moreover, they are fixed in their position, so they cannot move. So solids cannot diffuse, right? So these are some of the important properties of solids, right, that we need to keep in mind, right? And I hope all this is clear to you. In the next chapter, in the next video lecture, we will again discuss about amorphous and crystalline solids, right? So I hope all this is clear to you. Thanks.